Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. An instant, and I mean instant match reaction as Arsenal beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 in the North London derby. No RJ this morning, no Robbie this morning, probably still asleep. But we are joined by Nicholas Bucco, absolute friend of the show, big Arsenal fan. Nick, how you going?
Good, Scott. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No, always a pleasure. Look, I know time is precious, particularly at 5:45 in the morning. So let's get straight into the match. Lineups came out. I wasn't too shocked because I think a big key to our success this season has been that consistency. You can basically pick our starting lineup every match. The players have built great chemistry. The manager has great trust in them. Do you think that chemistry is a big part of why we're doing so well this season?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he had a plan from the start, so obviously it took a bit of time to get rid of all the players that he didn't want, implement his style, plus get players that he did want. So, end of the day, I think everyone's on the same page from top to bottom, which is so vitally important. And I guess you can say we're bearing the fruits of it so far, though there is a long way to go.
100%, 100%. Look, let's get straight into it. Um, we came out, and I was so impressed with the way we attacked. We were pressing them high up the pitch. We were chasing every ball, full intensity. Every player was really putting in a shift. Were you impressed by the start that we made? And after watching the first kind of 5-10, were you feeling confident?
To be honest, Scott, I thought Spurs actually came out not bad in the first five. And then we just really settled, put our foot on the ball, and then it really changed. And the next 40 odd minutes was probably as dominant display as I've seen all season from our side. I think that the only thing that was missing was probably another goal or two. Obviously, Thomas Partey with that thunderous shot. If only that went in, that would have been a contender for goal of the season. But uh, the thing was, we know Spurs are notorious slow starters in the league this season. We're fast starters, so I wasn't shocked. It was more that in my head, I was building up to how are we going to come out second half, because we all know that they come out a lot better second half, and you could see that they needed to do something. They needed to do something, and credit to the boys, they stood firm. Ramsdale was huge second half, but yeah, very very good start, very good.
Yeah, and we'll have to talk about Aaron Ramsdale soon. Obviously, speak about our man, maybe men of the match this morning because there were so many great players. But I was disappointed if I was trying to put on my hat as a neutral and all of that, which I'm not. I was disappointed with how poor Spurs were. I expected them to come out and try attack us. We looked like the home team. We were on the front foot. We were the positive team. We were creating the chances. I'm talking mainly in the first half here.
Uh-huh.
And they
Uh-huh.
were they played really within themselves. You had Kane doing more defensive work than their centre backs. Son, for me, was completely anonymous. I forgot that he was
Yeah.
on the pitch. Um, what do you think the reason for that was? Do you think that's a little bit of Conte trying to be really pragmatic? Was it just the occasion, or was it just a bad morning for them?
No, I think it's Conte's approach. I think it's been very consistent all year, and everyone is saying the same thing, that the way they set up, the way they approach their football matches is in a negative way, and that's just Conte. That's his style, and you can, at the end of the day, you can see that when a team wants to dominate the ball and control the game, they have a much higher chance of winning the game. It's that simple. I wasn't surprised that Spurs came out and didn't attack, because like we saw in the first half, every time they pushed forward and it broke down, we were away. And then every time we had the ball in that low block, low zone in our own half or at the halfway line, we just looked really comfortable. They set off and didn't press. So I wasn't surprised at all, Scott. It's been a consistent theme of their games. Not that I've watched too many of their games, but when I have, it's been the same thing. And the same thing happened at our ground in October. The only thing is they had a couple of final balls that really just missed for them to get on the board after that penalty. But today, yeah, the first half was just complete dominance. I just had a feeling that we weren't going to be able to uh, hold up for 90 minutes, just purely because of energy. The energy the boys came out with, just
Yeah.
it's unsustainable at Premier League level for 90 minutes. So you got to understand that. But yeah, just very happy with the way they grinded that out, to be honest.
Let's talk about that first goal. Obviously, came pretty early on in the piece. I didn't even normally, like when a goal goes in, I'll jump up and have a yell, but I almost didn't even realize it went in because the
Mm.
angle from which Saka shot, I just assumed that was going to get saved. It was so close to Lloris. It was an absolute howler from him. I want to ask you, as someone who has played at a solid level, um, do you, as an outfield player, kind of what's the feeling when there is that kind of goalkeeping blunder?
It's like a freebie. So for me, the mentality is yes, like beautiful, we're on the board. That's going to rattle them a bit. Excellent, like our hard work has been rewarded. Obviously, it's a mistake, but mistakes happen when you put people under pressure. And you could see, look, be as neutral as I can. You could see that with us in the beginning of the second half. They started putting us under pressure. We started making mistakes, kicking the ball out, giving the ball away. So, yeah, it's just I sort of realized the ball was in when the ball I saw it in the rectangle. You know how they've got the rectangle of the net
Yep.
behind the line, and I'm just like, how's that gone in? But then you watch the replay, he just punched it at his chest, and hey, that's why they say you got to make the keeper work because if the keeper works, you never know what can happen.
100%, and we all know Lloris has that in his game. Like I follow the French national team as well, and he's always got a blunder in him. He's a good shot stopper, but that's something that, to me, in his game, this is why he won't be talked about as one of the great goalkeepers. It's that, and for us, all the better. It was a great way to start. I felt that the boys then didn't drop. I've noticed a few times this season when we've taken that lead, we've kind of just been a little bit more pragmatic afterwards, but we kept
Mm.
going, and that free flowing football was in full effect. That Thomas Partey shot that you mentioned a second ago, far out. Had that gone in, you're talking about one of the goals of the season by a country mile.
Mm.
He hit that so well. Hit that so well. What was your reaction to that shot?
I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. Like the audacity to hit that on the volley first time from there is just incredible, and the technique to keep it flat, and
It was off his shin.
the way it just went into that post. If they hit the net, that might have ripped a hole in there. It was unbelievable. But look, he didn't. It's not like it's just a matter of catching the ball sweet, and that technique is beautiful. But it frustrates me as an Arsenal supporter because I felt like we really, really could have punished them today. Obviously, we take the 3 points, take the 2-0, but they were there for the taking first half. But
Mhm.
again, I think the only concern for me is that maybe we got tired. Obviously, we play at such a high tempo. He took a while to bring ESR on, but it's fair enough. I said the same thing last week or 2 weeks ago against Newcastle. The reason why he didn't make the changes was because they're very tough games to bring players off the bench, high intensity,
Yep.
physical. You need to have the right players coming off the bench to impact the game because it's not easy. Look at Richarlison, usually notorious for throwing himself about, making the impact. Didn't do nothing today. They made 5 changes, none of them did anything. The only real player that I felt threatened by was Kulusevski. He's got a beautiful left
100%.
foot. Mm.
100%. Let's then come to the second goal. Captain Fantastic. Look, and he's someone that I was skeptical of early on. I was very skeptical of Martin Odegaard. And one of the big criticisms was he tends to go missing in the big games. Doesn't get much bigger than a North London derby. And I thought he bossed it. He absolutely bossed it. He was at the heart of everything we did. Took his goal beautifully as well. What did you make of his performance? Is he your shout for man of the match?
Yeah, I think so. I was just watching the post game before we came on, and him and Ramsdale were together in the interview. The TV gave Ramsdale man of the match for his second half performance, but for me, Odegaard that first half he controlled everything. He was phenomenal, and he made an interesting comment that he goes, "Aaron tells me to shoot more often." And how many times have we as supporters criticised our number 10 players? Not obviously where's number 8, but for overplaying and not having a shot at the top of the box. And he needs to start doing it. He's got a beautiful left foot, and he can create. Once he starts shooting, defenders come out to block, throw a dummy, little reverse pass, and then it opens up for him. Wonderful, wonderful weapon to have, and he's proving a lot of people wrong. My dad was very skeptical. He thought that he was going to hurt ESR's development. But unfortunately, when you want to win championships, you've got to have two of the best players in every position to last 38 games.
100%. And football's cutthroat. You would know that quite well. And ESR, look, I love him. He's one of our own, but he's got to work his way back into the starting lineup. And after obviously the disappointment of missing out on Felix, Mudrik, etc.,
Mhm.
he's got a big role to play in this second half of the season. We'll come to that in a moment. Just my shout for man of the match, I probably would have gone Aaron Ramsdale. I thought he was absolutely immense. That shot stopping, how he was under pressure, just his reflex saves as well. He did everything you'd ask of a goalkeeper. I love the shithousery as well, like winding up the opposition fans. He got kicked at the end of the game. I don't know if you saw that, but a Spurs fan actually
Did
kind
too.
of came out and kicked him. What absolute moron! But I don't think Ramsdale was too phased by it, man. He was just in that zone this morning where nothing was getting past him, and I felt really comfortable. So really good performance there. Let's move on. The title race. We're 8 points clear now. Are we title contenders, first of all? Pretty hard to say no. I'm going to answer that for you. And how far do you see this run going? My man Borche from the football capital saying, don't bottle it. It's in your hands. Look, I wouldn't call it bottling it from here. We're about halfway through a season. You don't win titles in January.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but man, we're in a great spot. We're in a great spot. What do you make of it?
I think we've been in the title race for months because our start of the
Mm.
year was so good, and the wins that we had and who we played. So, obviously now, yes, we are in a fantastic position, but we're still halfway through. I mean, we are notorious for flipping up, so to speak, last year. Obviously, for me, Scott, it's a different Arsenal now, different mentality, different team. We've learnt from our mistakes. So yeah, we are genuine title contenders. Should we go on and win it? Probably, but it's a World Cup year. There are so many games to be played: Europa League, FA Cup, everything. It's just too much football, too much football to go for me to say, yeah, we're going to win it from here. I'm just, you know, I don't want to sit on the fence, but what can you do? It's literally halfway through the season. It's
Yeah,
not like it was Liverpool, not like it was Liverpool 1920 where they were unbeaten at this point. They were dominating everyone. Like it's different this year because anyone can beat anyone on any given day. It's a long way to go. Long way to go.
100%. That's the beauty of this league. It's the most competitive league in the world. You can drop points against anyone at any time, any place. And I'm actually a little bit worried about Borges' team, Manchester United, and the way they're playing football at the moment. But let's not go there. Let's stick to Arsenal. I want to ask you, because my big concern with us talking about a title charge, a title challenge, which I certainly think we're in, is the squad depth. Now, for me, we're 2 or 3 injuries away from calamity. If we were to lose, for example, Thomas Partey or Granit Xhaka,
Yep.
we're in big trouble. I already feel we're much weaker without Gabriel Jesus. Eddie's still got some developing to do. He had a few chances this morning to really put the game to bed, and he
He was
wasn't able.
fantastic, those guy.
Sorry.
He was fantastic this morning. His work rate, his
Yeah,
presence, he was fantastic, I thought.
yeah, work rates
You're
and
right, you're right.
presence, but
You're right.
you know this as well. When you're the striker, your primary job is to put the chances in the back of the net. And a third goal really kills it. We're not as nervous. But yeah, his movement, his touch, his physical play, happy with all of that. But we are missing the quality of Gabby Jesus to me. Like it's a big drop in class, I think. But he's developing well. But I look at the rest of the team and I think we need a couple of signings. We got done by Chelsea on this Mudrik deal. I'm not too upset about it. I thought the price was a lot for a player from the Ukrainian division who's had a few good showings in the Champions League. Joao Felix, who for me was brilliant in that cameo for Chelsea. That's the one I was really hurt by. I thought he'd take us to the next level. But do you think we need signings? If so, where's your priority? And do you have anyone in mind?
I think there's one player who has been spoken about on Twitter a lot, but I think it won't happen until the summer. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think, wow, he would be so good in our team, and that's Declan Rice.
Mm,
Price tag might be heavy, but he wants Champions League football. Probably wants to stay in London. Everyone's talking of Chelsea, this and that, but maybe Chelsea have priced themselves out of it with that Mudrik trying to steal Mudrik. So it might fall in our lap where we get an opportunity to get Declan Rice in. English, young, hungry, very, very comfortable in possession, which is perfect for us. Um, Obviously disappointed with the Mudryk. I think with his development at our club, with the way we look after players at that 21 raw talent, I think he would have been a perfect fit. It's very, very unfortunate that external factors prized him away from us, I would say. I don't,
External factors,
from
I
the
like that.
photos, yeah. Well, look at the photos, look at his face, like
He looks
look at the
miserable,
things he
man.
said. Yeah, he's not happy. I mean, come on, he goes, yeah, I'm looking forward to working with Potter for this project. Mate, you don't know if that guy's going to be there in 2 weeks. Come on. Like, let's be honest. I mean, it's no hit on Chelsea. That's just the way they are and they operate. We're different and we've
Yeah,
always been like that. But yeah, for me, look, Jesus will be back soon. Eddie's done a fantastic job. I would love to say we get a striker, but again, we are very, very selective and picky on who we pick. So it's impossible to say who we would go and get. But you're right, João Felix would have been perfect. Also, I think very disappointed because he's such a nippy player. But obviously, he signed a contract extension at Atletico, so he'll be going
that's
back
right.
there. There's no chance they'll sign him. So, but for me, the one player is Declan Rice. Our defense is fine. Obviously, goalkeeper's fine. Um, Maybe if I had to pick one striker or even winger, maybe Rafael Leao from Milan.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know if
I
we.
watch a lot of Serie A, so he's fantastic.
Now he's a brilliant player, plenty of flair, but I just wonder what AC Milan would want for someone like that who's in demand. But we've got cash. We know we've got cash. Our owner's loaded. Let's go and make something happen. Declan Rice, I
Exactly.
think, is a top shout. The rumors have been floating around a little bit, but would be a perfect fit. Absolute perfect fit. So, some good shouts. Yeah, good question here. Where would Rice play over Thomas Partey? Look, it's a hard one to say. I don't know if I'd drop Thomas Partey, but you've then got that rich competition between Xhaka, Partey, Declan
Exactly.
Rice, and Rice is also versatile. He can play in the back in an absolute emergency. But do you think he could start over either of those guys?
Well, I think if you play him ahead in there with Party, and then you just allow Xhaka to push forward, and then you need. Look, I know it's a tough question because you only can play 11 players, but you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Arteta knows this. Like you need reinforcements because of uh, quantity of games, risk of injury. I mean, look,
Europa
Pep
League coming up.
Guardiola has had 20 players. He keeps them happy. You just got to find a way to make it work. You just got to prove to them that if you want to win trophies, you got to be a part of a squad. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Spot on. And look, this comment, last one we'll address it now. 80 million for Rice not to start. Why not, man? Other teams seem to have no problem
Exactly.
spending big fees on players who don't start or don't perform. I'd have no problem with us doing it. To me, it would be a signal of intent that we're really serious about this title. We're really serious about our squad. And it will be a signal from Declan Rice, too, that he's serious about coming in and fighting for a place. So, look, a great match this morning, 3 points in the bag. We've won at their ground for the first time in a while. I think it was 2014. All positives for
Rosicki's
me.
bomb, Scott.
What was that?
Rosicki's bomb in 2014, 9
That's
years
the one.
ago.
And Mikel Arteta captained the team that day, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
So,
that's
look,
the one.
good signs, good vibes. Let's just keep this going. We've got some big games coming up. Manchester United. We're still got to play City twice, but I'd love to play them right now, the way they're looking. But, Nick, closing thoughts. I want to ask you, I'm putting you on the spot, mate.
Yeah.
Are we going to win the title in May? I'm saying yes. I'll go first. I'm a yes.
Well,
I'm a
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Look, can we? Yes. Are we going to? Look, I don't want to say it on record, but I will because we're just
I'll look,
look.
mate, at
Yeah,
the
we can.
moment.
Yeah, we can. Yes, we can, and we should. Yes, we
And if
should.
we
We've put
if we
ourselves in a
go
great
and
position. We
if we
have.
go and pick up injuries, and then at least there's a reason. You know what I mean? But I
Correct.
can't see our football going from where it is now to a hard level. Sorry for putting you on the spot, mate, but
No, Scott, it's fine. Look, our principles, the way we play, the way we set up, everything is perfect. It's just about executing on the day, and we've done that for 15 out of 18 games. So the odds and the percentages are all stacked in our favor. So you'd be stupid to say no because look at
yeah,
Man City are very vulnerable at the moment. Look, Man United, yeah, they've hit a bit of a purple patch, but they are so far from the finished article, and they know that we are a little bit further advanced than them in our project, so to speak, like them. So they're going through their stage now. So yeah, look, I mean, big game coming up against United at home. We have a great record against them at home lately, so I'm very, very confident. I think our football will stand strong against them. So just enjoying every game, Scott. Just taking it week at a time, and it's good
That's
to
it.
hear that Mikel and the boys are doing the same thing. They're just enjoying the ride.
Spot on. Look, it's always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you joining me so early in the morning. I know you've got work, so I'm going to let you go, catch some sleep. But you can check out Nick on his Twitter there. Make sure you check him out. He's an absolute champion, top Arsenal fan, handy little player as well. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your football and look after yourselves.